In this video, I'm going to share my 2 favorite ways to find the best palettes or color schemes for your podcast or for your YouTube channel or for your brand. And at the end of the video, I'm going to include a bonus of how you can take that scheme or that palette that you found and build a custom brand kit using Canva Pro. This is going to get really fun and really colorful. Let's get to it. Hey, welcome to the Pod Sound School. I'm Studio Steve. I'm the creative director of the Pod Sound School, and I love dabbling in all things artistic. And one of my favorite things about setting up a new podcast or a new show with clients is helping them choose the perfect colors for their brand. I love it. So I've tried a ton of different tools and worked with clients and with a bunch of our projects here at Pod Sound School and narrowed it down to my 2 favorites that I'm going to share with you today so that you can find the perfect color palette or the color scheme for your brand, for your project, for your podcast. So let's get right to it. But before we do, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, make sure you do that. Every week we post really fun videos all about content creation and taking your internet presence up to a professional level. Also at the Pod Sound School, we have premium online courses. Right now, we currently have 4 online courses for content creators. So if you want to DIY your project or your podcast, we have a ton of videos here on YouTube that can help you do that for free. Or if you're interested, we have premium online courses you can check out. I'll make sure to leave the link to our courses in the description box below, right where you're watching this video. Okay, are you ready? Let's hop in to the computer and let me introduce you to my favorite color scheme finder tools. So the first tool I want to show you, and this is a big hack, is part of Canva. I don't know why Canva doesn't make this more out in the open, but if you just type in to the address bar here and you just type in canva.com/colors, it takes you to this amazing page. You're welcome. So there's a lot of tools here. You have a color palette generator. This is really fun. If you click on this, you can actually upload an image. For example, if I were to just upload this image, a screenshot from my previous YouTube video, it will actually generate colors from that image, which is really cool. It didn't grab this fun red color here, but I could always add that after the fact as well. So that's one option. You can actually generate colors as a palette generator, or there's color palette ideas. This is my favorite tool here on Canva. And here you can see the really popular color palettes. I think popularity is a good place to start because you can see kind of what colors are catching a lot of people's eyes right now. And maybe that's a good thing for you to be concerned with your brand. And so you could just come through here and pick a color palette that you like. And you can also type in colors, themes, or keywords into the search bar here. Let's say, for example, you wanted something that's very green or green. You're very interested in green because your podcast is all about money, baby. Then you can come here and see all the different green options or palettes that it has that are very green heavy. You can also type in descriptive words like neon, or how about pastel? And you can see that Canva in here does a really good job of generating some cool color palettes for you. So let's say this pastel color right here, this plump pastel palette is one I really like. Then I can click on it. And when I click on it, it shows me this really amazing turquoise banana, but it also gives me the color codes right here. You'll notice this number or code that's next to the number sign down here is actually what's called a hex code. And that's important information if you're ever working with a graphic designer, but this is actually the real name of this color is this code here. But if I hover over the squares of the color, I actually see a copy option. So I can just click on that, copy this color and paste it back into Canva if I want to build a custom brand kit. But hold on, don't get ahead of me. Remember, I promised at the end of the video, I'm going to show you how we can build custom brand kits. So this is a really fun and simple way right out of the box. And the last couple tools that you'll find here on the canva.com/colors page is a color wheel and color meaning. So there's a list of colors and their meanings, and this can kind of be good to get your creative juices flowing. And then the color wheel is kind of a little more advanced, but a lot of times, let's say you have one color you really like and you want to see what the complementary color of that color would be based off of the color wheel. You can do that. You can move it around and experiment with colors that way as well. You can also organize them by complementary or even triadic, which will create a triangle around the color wheel and show you that. This is kind of fun if you want to find balanced colors that are balanced on the color wheel, which is cool. So this is another fun thing you can play with. I like to pop into here on the color wheel if I'm looking for one extra color to add to a palette that I'm creating, for example. But let me show you what I think is even more of a favorite tool of mine for really finding some colors. Warning here, you might get lost in the wonderful world of this tool. And to find this tool, just open yourself up a new tab and go ahead and go to Coolors. Now that's spelled Coolors.co. Coolors.co. And this is a pretty cool tool. Once again, you're welcome. This does a really good job of sort of guiding you through how it works. You'll notice there's some advertisements that come off right off the bat. So you can just deal with those advertisements. I've never had to myself sign up for the subscription to Coolors because the free version does a lot, does everything you need. And all you have to do here is just say, start the generator. And then once you do that, it will further walk you through how the generator works. If it's your first time here, I've been on it many times, so it's not going to give me the tutorials, but it will give you a tutorial and tell you how all of this works, how the generator works. It's really simple. You just press the space bar and it will randomly generate color palettes. So here I am, just going space bar crazy. Oh yeah. And you can just sit there and press the space bar until your heart's content or until you find palettes that you really like. And if you like a palette, you can save the palette. You can export the palette, and you can just hover over these icons at the top here and it will tell you what they do. Also, let's say, for example, if I press spacebar a few more times and I just love this palette right here, but I'm not really sure about this vermilion red color, which is crazy because vermilion is actually one of my favorite colors. So this mandarin color is just not vibing with me. You know what I mean? I don't want any orange. Well, what I could do is I could actually lock all of the other colors here, and all of the colors that are locked won't toggle when I press spacebar. So if I press spacebar again, now I can start toggling other colors that look cool with this palette or with this theme until I find something that I really like. And you know what? It was this claret color. The other thing you could do is toggle on these icons right here too, and you can view shades of each individual color so you can get a darker shade of each color, and you can really start playing around a lot. Now, where I actually like to start with Coolors, I usually skip over this spacebar fun generating random palette thing altogether, and I just come up here to the top menu drop down where it says explore, and I click on explore, and that brings you to the trending palettes. I really do like to start from the trending standpoint because I feel like it gives you a good idea of what people like. So here, for example, this first one that comes up, 60,000 people have saved this palette. So a lot of people like the way that these colors go together. Maybe that's telling you something. So you can come through here and you can find palettes that you really like. This one, at the time of making this video, I'm really into this one right here. I love this palette. In fact, I want to use it on something. This one right here. Oh, you can click and copy any individual color, as you can see, as I'm dragging over this, or you can come down to these three dots and you can say open in the generator. You can also just view the palette. You can save this palette. You can export this palette. But if I open it in the generator, it just brings it back to that generator we were at, where now I can make fine-tune adjustments to it. Maybe I can replace one color. And then once I'm satisfied with it here, I can go ahead and say export. And this is what I really love, especially if you want to work with a graphic artist. Let's say you're hiring someone on Fiverr, but you want to tell them the colors you want them to use in your design. Well, this is a perfect solution for that. And you can export this as lots of different things. You can copy the URL to this website. You can make a PDF or an image. I like to create an image, and I like to title it, I'm a Badass, because I feel really confident in my color selection here, and I feel like a graphic artist now. Thank you, Coolors. And then I'll say export. And now, as you can see, an image was just made. If I open that image up, this is some really cool stuff because I have my colors here, and then I have my hex codes included in this image card that I could send to my graphic design. I could send to my podcast co-host. I could do all sorts of fun stuff with. Okay, and now, as promised, I'm going to show you how you can use Canva Pro to put all of this together and to build a custom brand kit. Again, you're very welcome. Now, first, I have to say, if you don't already have a subscription to Canva Pro, you're crazy, because out of all the tools that we use here at the Pod Sound School, we use tons of content creation tools. Canva is still the most used tool probably of all of our other tools. And so I really recommend using it. It's great for so many reasons, especially for collaboration, but most specifically, Canva Pro is cool for this very thing, being able to build your own brand kit and save time in your social media designs and all of the graphics that you're going to be creating for your badass brand and podcast and project that you're working on. But what we're going to focus on for this video is just how you can build your own custom brand kit. This is something you could only do in Canva Pro, which is like $13 a month. I will leave the link to sign up for Canva Pro in the description right where you're watching this video. If you pay for it by the year, right now at the time that I'm making this video, it's $120 a year, which is only $10 a month. I really think that's the best money you're going to spend for the graphics, for the look of your brand. So what we're going to do here is you'll see from the homepage, this is what Canva looks like when you first open up Canva Pro. And then down here along the left-hand side in this column, you'll see it says brand kit. I click on brand kit and what pops up is Pod Sound School's brand kit. Here I have a big mess of brand colors that we use for products and clients and things. But what we're going to do for this video is I'm actually going to come over here where you see this plus sign and it says add brand kit. And I'm going to add one and I'm going to call this Podscalicious because I'm inspired. Okay, and we're not hindering on each other's inspiration. And here you can now add a brand logo. So if you have a logo for your company or your brand or your podcast, you can put it here. So you can easily just drag your logo into any design you might be doing. You can also add some brand fonts. So say you have a favorite font, maybe you've even paid for font somewhere, you can upload that here, or you can look at the tons of different fonts you get with Canva Pro. And we'll just go here, and for the purposes of this video, I'll just randomly select a couple. So like a big one, maybe something a little less big, and then something more of a body font. Maybe even here I could type in like handwriting and look at the different handwriting options. So many cool fonts in here, it's insane. And I will put font. And so let's say that for this brand that we're creating together, those are my fonts. So I have my brand fonts just chilling there, ready for me to use whenever I'm making a design in Canva. But now let's build some custom palettes based off of what we found. And again, we can either go to Coolors or we can go to canva.com/colors and go to color palette ideas and build palettes that way. So first we'll do it from Canva and I'll show you how easy it is. You come here to Retro Punch. We'll use this one. It's very neon, very 80s. It's totally what I'm going for my vibe, right? So here we go. If you hover over this, it just says copy, pretty easy. I'll copy this, which has now copied this hex code to my clipboard. If I come back to this window, I'm going to slide these windows closer together up here. But if I come back to this window or this tab up here, I can now press on this plus icon and add that color just by clicking in here and pressing Command V on a Mac or Control V as in Victor on a PC, and that will paste that color in there. Very easy. Now I just pop back over there and I repeat this process for all 4 colors. And when I'm done, I can rename it retro or whatever I want to call this palette. I can also add my own custom. I usually like to have some type of white and some type of black inside of all my color palettes as well too. And now I've got a really cool color palette and I'm cooking. Now let's add another one. And I also want to show you here on Canva, if you say add and discover palettes, it actually has a bunch of palettes you can just use right from this brand kit too. And this is yet another way inside Canva that you can discover really cool palettes. Look at this one, Diaphanous Jellyfish. Yes, please. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a custom palette, and we're gonna take the palette that we made from Coolors. And if we come back over here, remember we were on this trending tab, but then we actually opened that up and this was the one I really liked. Let's hide this advertisement. So now it's the same thing here. We can just copy and paste these colors. If I come up here to where it says view palette, I can actually see the palette here. And next to this, you'll see the hex code, the HSB code. Let's use the hex code for Canva. And look, it says click to copy. So I'll click that, it's copied. Then I come over to Canva and I repeat the same process we did in Canva. I just click on the plus icon to add a new color and then Control or Command V for paste. If you ever forget that, the paste, you can just come up to your drop down where it says edit on Chrome or wherever you're at, and you can see all the quick keys here for all these things. Pay attention to those. That's a little hack for you. And we're just going to repeat this process. So then I would click on the next color over, copy, add another color, come over here, Boss is going to be the title of this palette. So now I have 2 really cool palettes. Now this isn't going to be a Canva tutorial. I do have another video where I get into the inner workings of Canva. If you really want to get your Canva chops up, you can find that video by going here or over here. Somewhere there's an I button you can press and have access to that video. I'll also leave the link in the description box below. But quickly, I just want to show you now that I've built this brand kit, how fast and time-saving and fun Canva can be. So let's just go back to home in Canva to illustrate this, and I'll say create design. And let's say I want to do an Instagram post. All I have to do here is start typing in Instagram or Insta, and I have all the different templates that it already has built in for Instagram. And come here to Instagram post, and look, it already has all these awesome templates to the left side that I can pick and choose from. Let's just pick this one for now, and I'll click this. I really like this. I can replace this graphic with my own graphic or my own picture, but a lot of these graphics are also, it can have the colors changed with a click of a mouse. So here, this graphic, for example, look up here to the left side, I can click on these colors and I now have my brand. But here it's on the Pod Sound School brand. Of course, I would need to change this to Podskalicious, which is the brand we just created together. And now I can start recoloring this image with my own brand colors in a cool way. And we'll do that. No, just leave that white like that. And then anywhere you can click on the designs, if you can see a color that you can change, you can easily change it to where now it's going to be on brand with your brand. And I think that is so cool, so magic. And this was just a quick illustration. Same thing with the fonts. Now that I'm on the fonts, I can come here and I have my brand kit already built in. You can see Podskalicious. So I immediately just change it to my font that I use in all my designs. And I've got, oh, and that's the green color. That's not part of my brand. Let's use this pink color or even this yellow color again. So you can see how quickly, just with a couple clicks of mouse, I can now rebrand any of the templates that Canva has, and I can just get cooking with any designs and be on brand and be looking so pro, and you are very welcome. What'd you think? Pretty cool, right? Are you a big fan of mine now? Thank you very much. I'm a fan of you too. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button here. Tell me what you thought about the video. Comment here, share your podcast URL with us. We love our Podskis and we're constantly trying to help you improve your show. So don't be a stranger. You can also find us on social media anywhere at Pod Sound School. I'm usually hanging out on Twitter and Veronica's hanging out on Instagram. So go slide into her DMs and tell her, I told you to. I told you to. I told you. That's enough for me today, Podski. Good luck with all of your content creational adventures. Catch you next time.